Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. After nearly 80 videos about watches from all around the planet, today I finally get my hands on my first proper made in Germany watch. This one by Marc & Sons, a big, handsome, chunky dive watch with outrageous lume and a Seiko NH35. Let's flip the camera and get into it. Okay then, so the Marc & Son Diver. Now, I have had a look around, please leave me a comment. I am not aware of any other made in Germany, proper made in Germany watches at or around this $300 price point. Certainly not with the set of specifications that this one has. So what exactly have we got then? Let's have a look in the box. As mentioned, a big, handsome, super legible, well-specified dive watch. This one has a rather snappy name. It's the Marc & Sons Diver Watch Series Sport Modding MSD-045-14S. Kind of rolls off the tongue, really hoping that somebody gives this one a nickname much the way that they do with Seikos. So as usual, I'm going to start with some dimensions and specifications, then have a look at a movement accuracy report. I've had a watch check app running on this one for about the last 10 days or so. Results very good from this Seiko NH35 as one would expect. Then I'm going to pop it on the wrist, a bit more subjective analysis as well, but there is a warning. This watch has a dirty, dirty secret. Let's get into it. It's a big boy, 42 millimeters in diameter, a whole 15.5 mil thick, so very chunky, not that long on the lugs though, about 49.5, so still wears quite well. We've got 316L stainless steel, as you'd expect, 316L stainless steel on the bracelet. Nice piece of thick, slightly domed sapphire, you get a nice little bit of distortion there, which I always find attractive in a watch. Anti-reflective coating on the underside as well. 22 mil on the lug, 20 at the clasp, so there is a little bit of taper on that, which I always appreciate. Again, this bad boy weighing in at exactly 200 grams, sized up for my 7-inch wrist, so a decent amount of heft to it. Movement, as mentioned, Seiko NH35. I am beginning to develop a bit of affection for these movements. I've had 3 now, and I think they've all been pretty spot on. May as well do the movement accuracy report early. I'll pop it up there now. Can't really argue with that one. Within 2 seconds, over 10 days, really very good result from the Seiko as always. This one, 300 meters water resistant. We have got a ceramic bezel inlay there, and this one has proper BGW9 lume. I'll pop up a lume shot early as well. Look at that, really very, very nice. Not super bright, the BGW9, but very, very consistent, evenly applied across the indices. Great to have that ceramic bezel. Looks pretty good at night and lasts throughout the night as well, so a big thumbs up for the lume. Close up on the dial, and I think a really nice dial, great colour scheme, super, super legible. This big orange hand used by Squally, used by Seiko, used by a whole bunch of companies on their dive watches. Apparently the orange shows up better underwater than most other colours. We've got applied indices all the way around there, nice bit of depth on the dial, just a painted logo and some fairly simple text. Nice to see a watch that doesn't oversell itself on the dial there at 6 o'clock, and that all important made in Germany there at the 6 o'clock as well. Nice frame around the date window at the 3 o'clock, and that ceramic bezel insert I think looks really nice, a quality item. So far so good then, but I've got a couple of minor moans about this one. Bezel action is pretty good, nice and positive, but there is a little bit of backplay as you can see there, perhaps not quite as good as it could be. Crown, unsigned crown, not a deal breaker, but it's always a nice touch when a company takes the pride in its watches and actually puts its own logo on the crown, so a bit of a miss there I think. Solid end links on the bracelet there, and a simple but attractive deep etched case back there just with the model number, sapphire glass, company name and logo, and all stainless steel construction obviously. And again a nice little deep etched logo on the clasp. But here's my problem with this piece. I think you better sit down for this one. Ooh! And that's the noise I made when I first opened it. A pressed clasp at this price point? I don't think so, and I think it's not even a decent pressed clasp. Plenty of micro adjustments there, but that's a bit of a sharp edge, and the whole thing feels, oh, it's unbecoming of this watch, unfortunately. I think they should have spent an extra couple of bucks and put a decent clasp on that, because you're reminded that they cut a corner every single time you put this watch on or take this watch off, which I think is a real shame. So there it is, sitting on top of my 7-inch wrist. Now, I think it still looks pretty good. I think I can get away with this size. It is a bit of a chunky one. You can certainly tell there's some extra heft to the watch altogether, but I think that relatively short lug length and the curvature of those lugs means that it still sits fairly nicely on the wrist. And as I've said more than once, super legible. I always appreciate when you can read a watch at a glance. I guess that's very much in keeping with the dive style. You want something that you can read quickly and easily, and due to that orange hand, black dial, big bold white indices there, super legible. This one generally feels pretty nice on the wrist. So then the Marc & Son MSD-045-14S, very attractive. Couple of niggles with the bezel action and the crown. Really the big thing for me is the clasp on this one. It is available on a rubber strap and a leather strap, or you can always dig around on AliExpress. I'm sure it wouldn't take too long to get a milled clasp on there. That's really the only problem I have with this watch. Love the fact that it's made in Germany for around $300. I think though still very much worth a look. They've got a great range at Marc & Son. They do pilot's watches as well, and they've got a whole bunch of these dive watches, including a couple with double crowns and some nice vintage style ones. Definitely worth checking out the Marc & Son website. So there you have it, a handsome big watch, but you do pay a little bit extra for that made in Germany on the dial. If only they'd spent an extra $2 on a decent clasp. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.